Hey guys, how's it going? Matt from Foul Ball Productions here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you're doing well. I'm doing phenomenally. Thank you so very much. So the Expanse at New York Comic Con just happened. I just watched the panel. I had to pay like $65 for the privilege, and I think I don't even think I had to do that. But it was very confusing. Their website was not clear on how to view all this stuff. And so I watched like the New York Comic Con panel. It came out late. It was supposed to come out at 12:45. It didn't come out until like, I don't know, 12:15, 12:30, whatever. What up, Sentient Dildo? Hail, my good man. Hello. And so it finally came out. I finally got to see it. I guess I could sum the whole thing up in a single word. And that word would be underwhelming. Underwhelming. What up, Elvis? Hail, Elvis. Good to see you back, buddy. He says, teaser looks very good. I don't know about the rest. Number of episodes, 6. They are doing 6 episodes. That was revealed to be official in the in this panel with everyone there. So Naomi was there, Dominic Tipper, Amos, Wes Chatham, Stephen Strait, Holden, Avasarala. I don't know how to pronounce her name. What up, Jake D? Hail, brother. Good to see you, my friend. Lord Thoth, what up? Man of War 665, hello. Islington Girl, yeah, I don't even know if I had to. I was just like, I better just in case. Like, it's a New York Comic Con thing, right? So it's like I got like a virtual pass. But I bet if you went to the website now, you could probably watch it for free. I honestly don't know. But the trailer's up, and that's really the only thing that was worth seeing. I mean, the panel was up, and they did confirm it's going to be 6 episodes in the last season, which is like, man, I don't know. After season 5, I'm like just wondering if maybe it should have just died on Sci-fi. You know, maybe it should have just been 3 perfect seasons, and then we just kind of leave the rest as like, oh, what could have been. There's like 9 novels or whatever. Go ahead and read those. Hail, Mike DiCarlo. Just watch the trailer. Yeah, I'll probably pull up the trailer in a little bit and talk about it just because I just want to talk about the panel real quick. But, like, you know, it was just kind of everyone was just saying how great it's going to be and how sad the ending is, you know, and blah, 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 blah. I mean, there wasn't much there. We didn't get much. You know, we didn't talk about what the, it went downhill. I know. Season 5 fucking sucked. Yeah, Lord Thoth. 3 seasons was good for me. And the good thing about, at least so, we know Game of Thrones, like, tanks, right? It goes and just destroys its entire legacy and destroys everything that came before it. At least with The Expanse, if you've never seen it or you have a friend that's never seen it or whatever, you can still be like, listen, you can watch season 1 through 3 and it's perfect. It's 3 incredible seasons of television. It ends very well. You know, I don't want to spoil it, but the way it ends, it's just very like, okay, like that was satisfying, you know, and so it's like you obviously still want more. And season 4 is okay, but not amazing. And then season 5 is like really, really not good. At least the second half isn't. The first half's incredible, and the second half is utter garbage. And so I don't know. You could still recommend it. So I don't know. This panel came out. I think I'm going to go back and start covering all the episodes again leading into the new season because the new season comes out on December 10th. So we'll get the new season. 6 episodes. I mean, Amazon has handled this so poorly. So for season 4, they do absolutely no marketing. Like, it just came and went. I'm a fan. I lived in Los Angeles at the time. I saw one poster on Wilshire, and that was it. There was no, like, commercials, no advertising campaign. Didn't show up on, like, Instagram or anything like that. It was just kind of like you either know or you don't. And so then season 5 comes out, and right before season 5 comes out, they announced that there is not going to be any. They're going to stop after season 6. So it kind of just halts all the momentum of this new season that people were pumped about. Right? And so then season 5 finally comes out. They dropped 3 episodes all at once. They were unbelievable. They were so compelling, so good. And then, like, the half the season goes on, and it's okay. And in the second half, the tone starts to change. They drag out that sequence with Naomi and the ship. and it just goes on and on and on. I was just talking to a friend of mine. She's like, I had to mute it. I literally just had to mute it. She's like, why are we still doing this? And she doesn't like scrutinize media the way I do and like you guys in the chat do. Like, she's just a normie. And she was just like, what is going on? Why is this continuing to go on like this? And and it tanks. They kill off, spoiler alert, they kill off Alex Kamal, Cass Anvar, basically off screen. He has a stroke. Because we all know, because of Me Too allegations or whatever, which apparently I think amount to he tried to get laid on set or with people that were around the show. I don't really know. There was a compilation of allegations on Reddit. I didn't read them because it was like so many. But, with who is it? Warren Ellis. There's a compilation of accusations. There's a whole website dedicated to it. And it's essentially a lot of them boil down to he started talking to me. He tried to make it sexual. I said I wasn't interested, and he stopped talking to me. What a jerk. So it's like the fact that there's all these other allegations out there about Cass Anvar. Who knows? Who knows if anything or more just beyond someone got their feelings hurt. Someone got a little butt hurt, which apparently is a crime now. So they decide to kill off Alex off screen and just kind of sour the whole feeling of the show. And I think they tried to get away with it by like Yas Queening with Naomi in the whole last season there, just kind of giving her like her great, her like Emmy season moment where she just struggles so hard. And I don't know, she's become one of the least likable characters on the show, Naomi. And now she ran the panel last season, and I'll give them this. Last season, last panel, last New York Comic Con, she said something to the effect of like, how are you guys using your platform? Or, how does this show build up people? Or something to that, something very social justice-y. I will say there was none of that this year. There was no representation or social justice or whatever, but they did confirm that Peaches is now part of the crew. So Peaches, that girl who tried to kill everybody, who went to prison, Amos broke her out, and now she's part of the crew. That is officially confirmed. 6 episodes. Peaches is part of the crew. I don't know. And that's it. You guys are putting some good stuff in the chat. I definitely want to read it. But quickly, let's just watch the trailer to put everyone on the same page. It's just a teaser. It's really just a teaser. There's not a whole lot going on. But let's watch the teaser trailer. That's it. That's the whole trailer. 45 seconds or whatever. I mean, do you understand why I said underwhelming? Like, if you cut Marcos out of that trailer could have been for literally any season. Nothing specific happened. I saw them shooting. I saw a ship get shot up. I don't know if it's the Rossi. I don't know what. And then, there's drama in the system. That could be any season. Saw like a little proto-molecule girl. I don't know what that's about. I mean, fair enough. Sentient Dildo, it's a teaser, but like... Is it... Okay, you guys are fans of the show. Does it seem like the only people who are bitching about this show are me, Doomcock, and Gary? Like, I feel like everyone else who like talks about the show or is a fan of The Expanse, like, loved the last season, thought it was genius. I don't understand. I thought it was garbage. I thought it was, like, unwatchable. Not unwatchable, but just like, oh no, like they went woke. They made it, like there's intersectional feminism in this whole thing. It's like, oh God, Holden got sidelined in his own show. Gary said it best. Drummer got cucked. Drummer, one of those badass characters, isn't even badass. Like she is just impotent the entire season. And then like one of the other girls in her crew and her little polyam fam saves the day. It's just everything was wrong. Everything was wrong. And it started off so cool with Marcos dropping fucking, stealth asteroids on the planet. I don't know. All right, I'm going to go back and look at some of your wonderful chats. Hi, guys. Ascension Dildo. Actors rarely have something interesting to say. Absolutely. 100%. They're like athletes after the big game, Yeah, well, we went out there. We did our best. It's all about teamwork. We got a great group of guys here. We're all doing our best. We're following our. It's just like they're not saying anything. There's nothing to hear them say. Oh, well, my character is this great, and you guys are so great, and great, 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 great. It's all just PR. There's nothing really interesting to say. And Elvis, you were 100% right to spread that rumor. That's a pretty wild pickup. Because after you said that in I guess it was that Nina Infinity's stream where you brought that up? And it was like literally, I was the first I'd heard of it. And the only source I could find was an Indian, e-news site. No major publications picked up on that or ran with it. And they were 100% right, and so were you. 6 episodes in the final season. 6. Game of Thrones indeed, I think is how you put it, which is spot on. Game of Thrones in space indeed. Yeah. Jake D, you didn't miss anything, buddy. Got tied down to me so you couldn't watch the panel. You didn't miss anything. I recorded the whole thing. Waste of hard drive space. Nothing. The trailer was released at the same time the panel was released. They didn't say anything. The only thing that comes out of that you can't get from the trailer is that it's 6 seasons in the last episode. 6 episodes in the last season. They don't give any plot points away. They just kind of each actor took 5 minutes or so to explain where their character was in the beginning of the season, but no details. Underwhelming is really the word that I would use. Completely underwhelming. Lord Thoth. Agreed, Matt. 3 seasons was good for me. I would have been very happy with more seasons. I was so excited for the beginning of season 4, but I thought they handled it terribly. It was we've got all these we've got all these portals opened up to the universe, and it's we're only gonna explore one, and we're gonna jump right back into Belter versus Earthers and stuff like that. They handled it a little bit with the fact that Mars no longer had the need to be a unified front, trying to terraform Mars now that they don't need that. Now there's all these livable planets on the end of these portals, but I don't know. We get to that planet. Right away, it's Belter versus Inners. It's still keeping that narrative, which is all right. But can we kind of expand on the fact? Can we all just sort of collectively digest the fact that we're not alone in the universe, confirmed? You know what I mean? No one seems to be dealing with that. And then when they went to that planet that was mineral rich or whatever, where was that? Was that in our galaxy? Was it in another galaxy? Wouldn't that be an interesting detail? How far across the universe is this whole thing? So season 4 has got some interesting stuff, but there's that moment where they go into the cave and those weird microbes I was making everybody blind, and it's yeah, you're on a planet with its own complete own biome. Untouched, from no humans have ever lived there. It's not a human safe biome. So of course there's going to be bacteria and viruses and diseases. They're all just walking around without helmets on. No biohazard suits, no nothing. They're just the Belters have been here. I'm sure it's fine. How could it be fine? There has to be bacteria. If there's plant life and water, there has to be bacteria. Aren't you the slightest bit concerned that might harm you? And then it turns out that was exactly the biggest thing that fucked them all up. And you're what is going on? This whole season is so weird. Yeah. Luna says it went downhill. Yep. Sentient Dildo says if the 6 eps are good, I don't care. They better be really good. They better be really good because I have a very sour taste in my mouth from last season. And seeing Dominic Tipper run the panel was just kind of she's just become this overwrought character who used to be pretty cool and charming, and seasons 1 through 3 she's pretty likable, but it just kind of has declined since. And I don't know, I can infer, but it feels a bit Yas Queenie. Can't confirm, no reason to know, but it just feels God, she's just I don't know. I just don't like Naomi anymore. So seeing Dominic Tipper run the panel, you're all right, whatever. Islington Girl, are the books woke or are they better? Maybe I will do that instead. I prefer reading. Apparently, I've only read the first 3 books. Apparently, Gary says that they do go pretty woke, I guess, later in the series. I'm not entirely sure what he's referring to. But this is according to Gary over at Nerdrotic. He says that it does get pretty woke. I don't know. I haven't read them. I'm not that far along. Lord Thoth, season 5 was awful. Agreed, my friend. Agreed. Elvis. Good to see you back, Elvis. All they are left with, to have enough balls to make Inaros kill as much of them before it ends. Yeah, I guess so. And you were saying they're bringing back some character, some general or something like that, which I guess is a pretty titular character in the later books. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. Like, in the thing was, in season 5, I've said this before, but my theory is, because of the Cass Anvar situation, they had to scramble to cut out as much of his scenes as possible to maintain the narrative of the show. They elongated that Naomi sequence, which would have originally just been like one sequence on one episode. I think they stretched it out over 3, maybe 4 episodes to try to elongate the runtime instead of doing very expensive reshoots and rewriting. Then they just tried to manipulate the narrative. But then in the last 4 minutes of the last episode, all this really exciting stuff happens. Like Marcos escapes through one of the portals. He has a stealth asteroid, like meteor shower that lights up a Martian ship. Then this Martian ship goes through one of those portals and then gets eaten alive by the Langoliers, some sort of weird, they froze and these things just ate them all and they disappeared. And you're like, what was all that about? I would have loved to have gotten into all of those very interesting plot points. Instead, I had to see Naomi struggle to breathe and hammer at ice or something to drink water. Episode after episode after episode. And then Alex dying off screen. It left such a sour taste in my mouth that it's just I don't even know. I mean, hopefully. Yeah, Jake D, A Tale of Two Halves, season 5. Absolutely. Absolutely. Lord Thoth, 6 episodes is not enough to wrap this show up, except in a very, very disappointing way. This is going to pull a Game of Thrones on us. Yeah, it is, but like I said, you could still just stop at the end of season 3 and be very satisfied. You know what I mean? Because it's it wraps up that whole Miller story and all that. So I felt very complete. If there was nothing else after that, I'd want more, but I wouldn't feel like I was jerked around. It felt I don't know. Luna M. I read the first 2 and I liked it. Caliban's War is good, but after season 5, I was like, I'm not reading the books anymore. The author's attitude, too. Well, yeah, definitely don't follow them on Twitter. Don't follow them on Twitter. Don't follow James S.A. Corey on Twitter. They're super woke. They basically do attack fans. Not directly, but last season when there was a lot of pushback to the way the show turned out. There were people being like, oh, I hope they don't discover how woke and progressive our show has always been. And it's fuck you. It has not been like this. It's not been the way this season turned out. It was the way Star Trek did it. It was we're post that. You know what I mean? You don't need to dwell on it. The point is not that, oh, you're black and you're, it was they're belters. That's what makes them different. They're earthers. That's what makes them different. Not the petty identities of each individual, their culture, where they come from. It was post all of that. And then I feel like they started focusing on these other elements. It wasn't explicit, but I still think they really made a point to highlight these identity politics things, Sentient Dildo. Wow. Sentient Dildo saying this must be true. Says, I read one of the allegations and it was really disgusting if it's true. Well, feel free to share which one that was, because I didn't do any research into it because it was way too many. I was like, I don't know. And look, I'm not even saying it's not true. I'm not saying he didn't do anything wrong. He very well may have. I'm not suggesting he didn't. What I think is that it doesn't matter to the show. He was a hired actor. If he did something bad, you're not responsible for it. You're not his father. You didn't create this man. He's an adult who makes his own decisions. And so, okay, he gets fired and you hire another actor to replace him. This show has already proven it doesn't mind recasting major characters. It recast Avasalaro's husband in season 4. Didn't even make a point to highlight it. They show him for 3 scenes before they even acknowledge who the man is. So it's not, I just don't know why they couldn't have recast him. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. I don't know. Islington Girl, if you're serious about your job, you don't screw people at work. He should have kind of known better, but it's still not fair. I don't know about that. People screw people at work all the time. I mean, I can understand, like, from a professionalism point of view, you might not think it's the right thing to do. I'm not going to argue with you there, but it's not wrong. You could just be like, yeah, it's kind of unprofessional. But it's like, all right, lots of things are unprofessional, you know. This is also the entertainment industry. I mean, it's unprofessional to attack the fans of your thing. It's very unprofessional. It's unprofessional to polarize your audience, to attack people who disagree with you politically, or even suggesting, alienating them. Like, that's all unprofessional. This doesn't bother me. But, Ascension Dildo say it might be worse than just trying to bang people at work. So, I don't know. Ascension Dildo wants me to use my platform for good. I feel you. You're right. I should do better. Brightest Day says Amos and Picho's part of the last season was the more entertaining parts. It was, but it was so dragged out. Like, I really liked the stuff at the prison. I thought that was pretty cool. And that guy Tiny, when fucking Amos just suplexes him all down that flight of stairs, that was really cool, and just kills him. That was really badass. But then it got dragged out for the whole season of them trying to get back to the Rossi, and it was like, oh, it's just this whole parallel thing of them getting back, and it was completely insignificant in the grand scheme of the story. I mean, that's something the Expanse did terrifically over the years, was even little side stories, little B plots and stuff would ultimately contribute to the overall narrative. It wouldn't just be, well, this is happening, and then we're just going to get through it. I mean, it's a side quest, essentially, at that point. Right? You're just wasting time getting off of Earth. You didn't learn anything. You saw that Earth was, in shambles. Like, okay, I mean, great. Then there was, a lot of stupid stuff that happened at the end there, where that one gangster guy, like, his entire squad gets sacrificed because Amos is like, yeah, Peaches is right, let's not kill anybody. Then everyone he knows and works with was murdered. And he's just like, well, I guess that's how it goes. It's like, what? Like, if you just did what you wanted to do, which was fight all these security guys when it was the time, all your people would still be alive. You had the drop on them. You had more guns. You could have just wiped them out right there. But you didn't, because Peach is like, oh, don't kill people. By the way, I'm in jail for attempted murder. And then, like, they're like, okay, I guess I won't. And then everyone died. And he's just like, well, guess it is what it is. Oh, wow, that's really solid writing. Very consistent. Very consistent. Lord Thoth, underwhelming was a great word to use. Yeah, thanks. Very underwhelming. Luna M, very boring. I agreed. Islington Girl, you didn't watch the last season? Oh. I mean, it's okay trailer from someone who didn't watch the last season, but it's basically just explode character shots. I'd like a little bit of tease as to what the story's going to be. I mean, didn't Marcos and his son and that, like, his whole crew go through a portal? Where'd they go? We could tease that. Maybe he's on the outside of some random planet or something. I don't know. Give me a little bit more. Season 4 teaser was way better. Yeah, I mean, at least you had some interesting stuff happening. Like, you're like, oh, we're on a new planet. Mars is falling apart. Bobby's involved in organized crime. Cool, something. I don't know. Elvis. It was the Rossi on the run under heavy fire, losing her, so it seems. The Tynan under fire. The Pella wrecking the shit out of the good guys. Well, you're very observant. I didn't really pick up on all those details. Still, though, without any context, I do not have very high hopes for this last season. 6 episodes? No, I think the last episode Naren Shankar said is going to be an hour and a half instead of 60 minutes. Still, though, I mean, season 2 and 3 have like 13 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. So you get 10 episodes, 13, 13, 10, 10, and now 6? The final season, where you're stopping 3 books short of completing the entire narrative, you're only giving us 6 episodes? Like, I don't understand. Maybe this show just doesn't do well, and it's not worth it to Amazon. Could be. I don't know. Maybe you should put some money in advertising it if that's the case. Mike, hey, the new drummer story. Me too. Hated it. She's one of my favorite characters, and she was just, like Gary said, just completely cucked. Just couldn't do anything. Hands tied. the entire season. You're like, do something, drummer. You're such a badass. Like, do something. She just didn't. Boring. A lot of people, Luna M, a lot of people didn't like it, but it gets buried if you go to IMDb. Many comments of people who dislike. Oh, that's interesting. I should go look at that because every video I saw, everyone who's like an Expanse fan, I got a lot of pushback on my videos last season when I put out like just, it got woke. I didn't like it, all that kind of shit. So it's like, I'm glad to hear that people also could wake up and see that it sucked, but that was not my impression. My impression is that it was pretty universally well received. Got a super chat. Hey, the Fandom Collective. Thank you very much for $4.99. Where are we? Awesome topic and stream. Thank you very much, the Fandom Collective. I really appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much. Fandom Collective is a kind of a promotional channel. They sort of help out YouTubers and get the word out of new streamers and stuff like that, and kind of they'll retweet everything you put out there. They're pretty cool. Thanks to Fandom Collective. Much appreciated. Hi, Sean. What's up, buddy? How's it going? You can comment on IMDb again. Awesome. Hey, Pat S. What's going on, brother? Elvis. They turned Drummer into the enemy of the belt. Now the show has to ignore it if you want to have Drummer as a hero of the belt. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It's weird. It kind of seemed like a lot of the characters in the story like ignored the fact that, hey, everything's different now. Like the belt and Earth and Mars are kind of only part of the story. Like, I guess because Earth was blockading all of the portals, it made a big difference, and they wouldn't let people off. And they're like, we can go to these other planets. So maybe that's what's driving the story. But I don't know. Just felt like it didn't impact the universe enough that like the universe of the show, that now the literal universe is wide open. I'm not really sure, but whatever. Elvis, Mark is in the ring space. That's where every ring initially leads. The Medina is in the ring space too. So that's just that little. So it's the space between the two portals. Like it's not the actual like on the other side of the portal. It's like where season 3, most of season 3 took place. Is that what you mean? Yeah, I don't know. Ace Mr. Freeze. The trailer didn't interest me. If episode 1 doesn't grab me, then I may just drop the show. I mean, it's only 6 episodes. I'm going to finish it no matter what. I'm probably going to cover every single episode on this channel as after they air. I'm too invested. I care too much about the show. I love it so much. Like my friend here is watching it right now, and it's so much fun to hear her talk about like the show and whether how she's into it and this, that, and the other. And so it's like it's fun to like hear her investment and her excitement about it. So it's like, and it reminds me of what I liked about the show, how invested and excited I was, when it first happened. Like when I got into it when it first went to Amazon before season 4 came out, and I watched it, and I watched all 3 seasons, and then I immediately watched all 3 seasons again. I was that invested. I was that compelled by this story. It's so good. So I got to finish it. I got to finish the whole thing now. I got to really, get into it. Isn't the girl said, I meant screwing at work. Oh, screwing at work. Yeah, well, that's different. Yeah. In the context of actively pursuing a career, like I suppose he was. I mean, yeah, stuff happens in retail, lol. Yeah, stuff happens all the time. And you are hanging around enough people, eventually you're gonna bang some of them, But yeah. By the way, The Expanse is awesome. I wish they'd get season 6 out soon. Well, it comes out December 10th. December 10th, Fandom Collective. I mean, I'm glad to hear you're excited about it. I'm very hesitant. Like I said, the way season 5 went, I don't have my hopes up. I'm going to try as hard as I can to go in with an open mind, to try not to be biased or too cynical, to really keep an open mind as it comes out. But I'm not that excited. I mean, watching the panel, Naren Shankar seemed pumped. You know what I mean? He seemed like he was like excited about it. Like he genuinely was like, oh, it's going to be really good. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. Pat S. says, some of what he did was Louis C.K. stuff, some a lot worse. I guess I need to hear more about exactly what he did. I don't really know. Like I said, also, I don't even know if that's necessarily relevant. It's like if he did it, then fire him. Fire and recast him. It's not like he authored the character himself. He's the actor who played him for 5 seasons. Okay. And then he behaved poorly. All right. Why are you going to torpedo the character? It's not the character's fault. The character exists separate of him. He's just... So just, finish the season with what you have, recast him for the last season, and who gives a shit? It's not a big deal. Attention dildo, that's why I don't listen to what Hollywood creatives have to say. It's always a disappointment. Yeah, I mean, it's their job to not be honest, really. They just can't be. It's like they're PR, basically, when they speak. It's PR. Okay, confirmed. I will not waste time on the books. Look, that's just what Gary said about that one book. I don't know if it's worth checking out or not. I mean, the books are good. I enjoy the books. So what I read, the first 3 are really exciting. It's interesting to see the contrast, the choices between the show and the book, like what decisions they made to change it. It might be worth your time. I really don't know. Brightest Day. If there's a silver lining, it's that Amazon is burning money, proving they can't handle shows. Yeah, I can't argue with you there. I can't think of a single show on Amazon that I'm like, that was perfect. That was incredible. Like, people like The Boys season 1. I had issues with it, but I didn't. But I didn't love it. But The Boys season 2 was a joke. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. I don't know. Flipped out. Hell, flipped out. Good to see you, brother. Thank you for joining. Ascension dildo. I can't breathe. Naomi Nagata. That's a good joke, buddy. That's a joke. Mary G says, I wouldn't mind if Naomi died. Hail Mary G, good to see you. Yeah, a lot of people don't like Naomi. It's because she's not there's no fun in her. There's no joy. At least when like her and Holden were together, it was kind of fun. It was like this cute couple. She was tough, but she wasn't unbearable. She's unbearable now. She feels like a social activist in the show, right? Like in season 4, like she's desperately trying to like save that family or whatever, and now she's got to go. I don't know. She's just she's always struggling so hard. It's not likable. She seems, and it almost seems like the actress takes her character too seriously. I don't know. Naomi used to be a terrific character. I used to love watching her. I thought she was really awesome. Really, hard-headed but cool. I don't know. A lot of people don't like her, myself included. Elvis, good eps? I don't know. We saw Bobby on top of the Medina in her armor. How did she get there through all those 170 PDCs that the Medina is armed with? Damn, Elvis knows his shit. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to judge that because I have no idea. Maybe the Medina is incapacitated at that point. Maybe the engines are shot out. Maybe it's like a lot of interior damage. There's no way to know what's going on there. I mean, unless you've read the books and you might know, but... I mean, I'm amazed you could pick all those details out. That's really observant. But I'm going to hold off judgment on something like that until I actually can see the show. Until I can get some context. But, I don't know. Islington Girl. I'm still back there dealing with the crystal face parasites. Lol. I'm only going to watch season 3 to wrap that up. The trailer has no hook for me. No, me neither. There's nothing in that trailer. There's nothing in it. I want to look at it one more time. I want to look at it again. Oh, fuck, I don't have it up. But I'm just curious. I just want to, I want to see, maybe there's, some Easter eggs or something. Maybe I'll play it at, half speed and see if there's more to it than, I'm realizing. But I'm not really, not even slightly impressed. I don't see anything to be excited about. It just feels like they're abandoning this show. That's what it feels like. It just feels like they're abandoning this show. I don't know. I'm just gonna mute it because that's annoying to hear it at half speed. Now I don't know what ship that is. That's definitely not the Rossi. But it looks like there's a dead pilot. Oh no, there's no one there. Oh fuck. That's impressive. You were able to pick up on that. Yeah, there. Oh yeah. That was quick. Wow, you could pick up what ship that was? That's amazing, dude. I guess she's getting lit up. I don't know, those PDCs she's getting lit up by? I mean, I guess it's just a teaser, but I don't know. There's better ways to do a teaser than this. There's just nothing here. I don't know. Sentient Dildo, it feels like a Rush teaser. I agree. There's nothing in this. There's no... What's to get me invested? What's to get me to care? It's just like, oh, images of the people that you know. It just feels like they're done. They're just trying to dump the show off and move on. I don't know. Elvis, of course, the general. Hail Elvis. From realistic military... Oh, yeah. All right. From realistic military perspective, even for the TV show, Medina is very hard to take. It's defended on a tactical position on the edge of the system filled with enemy forces. I'm going to have to take your word for it on that one, buddy. Like I said, I'm still going to hold off judgment, but you might be right. I mean, they just sort of been taking leaps. I don't know. And am I leaping at shadows that it's like, now that Cass Anvar is off the show and Alex Kamal is dead, now we replace him with a girl, replace him with Peaches? I don't know. Seems suspicious. Seems suspicious in this modern day and age, although I will say, the actress who plays Peaches, holy crap, beautiful woman. I guess I noticed she was pretty on the show, but when she was on the panel, just an actress, like, wow. Like, stunningly beautiful, like a supermodel. Like, I was like, God damn, that was a pretty woman. Pretty woman. Islington Girl would rather see him in a... Oh, that's me. Oh, we're talking about me. Ace Mr. Freeze, I'd rather see Foulball in tights again instead of this trailer. Well, thanks, guys. I'm flattered. I'm flattered that me in a dress was so exciting for you guys. It means a lot. Elvis. Teaser has 2 short Naomi scenes. In one of them, she's crying awful. And yeah, Naomi playing Dominique. Yeah. Yeah, that's honestly what it feels like. It feels social justice-y. It does. Central Dildo's called me out on this, but it's like, maybe I can't put my finger on it. Maybe I can't articulate exactly what it is, but it feels like that. It just feels like that's what it is. I don't know. Just not, Central Dildo, Peaches becomes a member of the crew in the books too. Fair enough. I'm not saying, like I said, not saying, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't have a problem with Peaches as a character. I didn't like how she was implemented at the end of last season. I didn't like how she starts calling the shots, and then her shots are terrible. Like, when she started saying what she could do, like, hey, how to do this, she basically got everyone killed. And then, like, then they had to murder all these guys anyway. It was like, well, then, Peaches, maybe don't call the shots. Maybe take a back seat. Because I don't think you know how to handle these situations. But the show didn't even acknowledge that it was a terrible choice by her. That's what was so frustrating to me. It wasn't like, oh, Peaches, you fucked up, and she had to be like, oh, gee, I sure did. It was just like, oh, well, moving on. Moving on. All those people are dead because Peaches wouldn't let us kill them. Anyway. Ooh, Elvis. Even Amos started playing Wes. It's just off. All the characters are off. Yeah, I agree. They're all like shifted. Like they're all like pale versions of themselves. Drummer isn't cool. Fred Johnson's dead. Holden's not even in the show anymore. Wes, Amos is, I don't know, running around on Earth. Avasarala, what was that whole storyline? God, that sucked. She survives, gets appointed by the new president or whatever. Then immediately the new president is like, oh, he's evil. And then they're like, we will not stand for this militaristic thing. And then they all walk out. All the women walk out because they're more compassionate and wise than men. And then Avasarala has a literal coup where she overthrows the government, and it happens off screen. And everyone just accepts it. There are billions of people on Earth who are devastated by this, asteroids just crashing into the planet and killing millions. Then there's a president, which they would all know about, and then that president is overthrown, and no one has an issue with the fact that she just basically like had a military junta and stole the seat of power outside of the democratic process. And the show's like, totally. You're like, what? She's a tyrant. She's a despot. She just stole the throne. She's like a warlord. What? And the show's like, no, it's fine. She's noble, so it's okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, the Luna coup. Ugh. Terrible. So poorly handled. The entire season was so bad. Luna, right? Low creep primus who accepts stuff like that as normal tyranny. Maybe. I think it's more incompetence than anything, but hey, could be. Who knows? Elvis, because Avasarala is the queen and has a great wardrobe. I thought the Expanse audience is smart. They are. Well, I thought so too. Perhaps not, because a lot of people ate that shit up last season. And Dominic Tipper in the panel referred to Avasarala, whatever, I can't think of her name, but the actress who plays her as Queen of the Universe. Cute. But I will say, when Avasarala was, what is her name? Shugdu is her last name? I don't know. It's Iranian. It's tough for me to say. But she was saying, like, when she was talking about her character, she had, like, inner passion about the character as if, like, it was a real person. Like, she vividly and like empathizes with the character and like sees the story and really cares about the world. And she said during the panel, and you could tell this was, at least I felt it was authentic, was that she said it's like the greatest thing she's ever been a part of or watched, and it felt like a real comment. It didn't feel like she was just saying what she's supposed to say because she's, a TV actress. I thought it was pretty genuine to me. Yes, Shora, that's it. Shora. I don't know how to pronounce that last name, but Shora. Yeah, she's great. I mean, I love her. I just think the way they handled the character was so stupid. So stupid. Yeah, Eric is a dumbass in the show. How do you even survive the churn in Baltimore like this? Yeah, like the guy is like this badass criminal lord, and then he just takes a backseat to Peaches. Before Peaches even shows that she has that little, like, the upgrades, like the bionic powers or whatever. He's just like, oh, well, I guess I'll just listen to her. Because, and then her terrible decision making got everyone killed, and she's just like, nope, no. Sentient Dildo, that was my problem with it, not acknowledging she made a total mess of it. They just moved on. Yeah, that's what I said. We talked about it too, because I talked about it that episode on the, like when we went on live after the show aired, I was talking about that with the guys, and they're like, yeah, like I don't think they wanted to commit yet. They weren't ready to accept that the show had fallen apart. And they were like, yeah, well, we'll see what happens next episode. And next episode, they barely even acknowledge it. In fact, I think the guy even praises her as being badass. She got your whole team killed. Everyone your whole family, essentially, your whole world, she got them all killed by trying to be benevolent, which you ended up having to kill them all anyway, so it was actually worse, because you had to kill everyone, and in order for that to happen, all of your team had to die. And she's just like, well, she's a hell of a fighter. It's like, what? And that's the thing this show never did. It wouldn't make mistakes like that. It always considered everyone's perspectives. And Naren Shankar said that in the panel about how, like, Drummer supports the belt, but doesn't support the fact that not the bombardment of Earth. Like, she's like, I hate them, but I don't want you to murder them all either. It's like the way that the OPA was kind of fragmented. Like, there were terrorists who, like, straight up wanted to kill all the inners, and then there are others who were like, we got to be more diplomatic if we want to be taken seriously. That was the nuance this show used to dabble in. Gone in the second half of season 5. Absolutely gone. Everyone behaved stupidly. It was just like the later seasons of Game of Thrones. Characters stopped behaving like themselves. They started behaving stupidly. They took huge logical leaps that the show just blew past, didn't even acknowledge. So now it's supposed to be pumped for season 6? 6 episodes? What is that, some kind of symbolism? I don't understand. Like, why you drop it down 4 episodes? Like, 10 episodes was a bit of a stretch. Anyway, I was like, all right, I'll accept that it's 10. It used to be 13. I was like, all right, well, it's a streaming. Now they're down to 6 episodes. Why? they're pulling the chute. They're abandoning the show. I don't know. It just doesn't feel justice, right? There's this huge fan campaign to save this show, save the Expanse, hashtag save the Expanse. They put that money, they fly the plane with the tail over the Amazon event, save the Expanse, huge fan movement. They successfully do it, and what do we get? One average season, like before season 5 came out, season 4 was far and away the worst season of the show, by far. But it wasn't awful. It just wasn't good. Season 5, flat out bad. Right? You have this incredible first half, awful second half. Awful. Destroying, like, the excitement for the show, destroying maybe, like, new fan. I don't know, just awful. And now, the last and final season, you have all this goodwill to make up with the fans. And you do 6 episodes? What? This is how you pay it off? It just feels like the show probably shouldn't have been saved. Should just let it go. But how could you know that? I don't know. Elvis, what they did with Clarissa Eric is propping one character on the expense of others. That's why the show didn't address it and probably never will. Of course it won't. No, they blew past it. It's over. They had their chance to acknowledge it happened. They're not going to. And that's what felt woke about the final season. Or at least this past season. They propped up other characters over logic, over what would make sense, over what would be good storytelling, good television. They just, no, it's important that we see Naomi struggle, because girls. And now polyam fam, because progressive. And, can't kill because women are more compassionate. What? And, Avasarala is the right woman for the job, because. But one thing you have to admire about Avasarala's character is that she loved and acknowledged the democracy, that like she was proud to be a part of that government. And instead, she just get rid of it because it's the wrong guy for the job because he's a warmonger. And it's like, he wasn't even really a warmonger. He was just doing what was normal. Like, yes, people were going to die, but like they launched these giant rocks at Earth. And it's like, you have to retaliate somehow. That's all he wanted to do was a symbolic retaliation. Does anyone remember 9/11? We were fucking fuming. We were, get blood. We wanted blood, after that attack. We were furious. So that's what the people of Earth must have been feeling like times 1,000. And so they're going to take out one station, and she like walks out like, oh, I would never, oh, God, heavens, you. And the other woman walks out, and then the little meek guy comes up behind them, like, yeah, I also disagree. And then all the evil men are left in the room. All the evil warmongering men are left in the war room. Laying it on a little thick, don't you feel? A little thick. Elvis. Because she never won elections, and the only one she had in 50 years she lost. That's why she's the best. CNN would agree. Art imitating life there. Lame. Agreed. Islington Girl. Powerful, unlikable characters. And that sucks because Avasarala was one of the most likable characters. She's still likable. It's so weird, too, the way they had at the end. Like, when the crew of the Rossi goes to Luna and, like, they all are mourning Alex's death. It was even weirder. It was almost like the show reluctantly got rid of Alex. And they're just like, and it's almost like they put like a tombstone on the show for the character. And it's like, well, anyone doing any kind of research is going to have to look into the Me Too thing. So it's almost as if you're like, this is bullshit. We had to do this, but we had to do it. It's like, you didn't have to do it. You could have just recast it and moved on. And it was the most unceremonious death of a major character on TV I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen a character's death dealt with like that. Like that was like, in the squad from day one. They're just like, oh yeah, he had a stroke, I guess. What was that? Oh yeah, he had a stroke. He's been a pilot for 40 years or whatever it is, and he just suddenly had a stroke once. Why? They weren't even going, as far as I understand it, any faster than normal. So bad. She came a long way, Naomi on half his Ascension. Dude, that's fucking pissed. I don't know. Islington girl, very well put. Nuance goes out the window when woke walks in. Absolutely. It's contrary. I honestly believe, by its very nature, woke is contrary to good storytelling. I don't think it's possible to tell a good story when you are focused, especially overly focused on an agenda. I don't think you can do it. I don't think you can. Because it's like you have to keep that as the priority, and then all the other characters that fit into that narrative, they can't ever have like flaws or mistakes, and it just stiffens your entire narrative and forces it to make that the goal, this like one little ideal, and it just ruins everything it touches, especially when it comes to storytelling. It's the worst. It's the worst. Elvis, smart people don't like the second half of season 5, and Alva Salar as a public official calling her a queen. Is everything wrong with the world? Fuck yeah, Elvis. Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, that's a real shame, man. It's a real shame. Oh, hey, Lord Thoth. What I miss? We're just kind of bitching about why season 5 sucks so much. Just kind of, all the mistakes and how now that season 6 has got 6 episodes, like how can you get excited about it? Ascension Dodo, ideology is not compatible with nuance. No, it's not. Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's like you can write your values into a show, but if you're writing propaganda, it's impossible. It's impossible. You can't, because then you can't allow the characters to behave like human beings and have nuance and like natural human like needs and movements and desires. Like, you just have to write them the way they're supposed to be perceived, and it's just the worst. It's just the worst. I don't know. I wonder what it feels like from the inside. Like, I wonder if Steven Strait's like, hey, I got written out of my own show. Like, I'm the lead of this show, and I'm like sidelined for like 5 episodes doing absolutely nothing. I don't know. So weak. Elvis, he got Me Too'd and Naomi talking about who got what, way to, and to, wait, what? He got Me Too'd and Naomi talking about who got what way and to what direction is Naomi playing Tipper so obviously. It seems like the Cass Anvar situation created like this sort of void where like the more activist nature of these actors could swoop in and kind of, seize a little power to make the show more woke. Now that's just inference and speculation. I have no idea that that's what's going on, but that's what it feels that way, man. It feels that way. I don't know. Can't prove it, but I don't like it. I don't like it. Senja Dodo, bet he's pissed. He can't say shit about it. He's a straight white male. Yeah, no, he can't. And you can't say that in the middle of a show. You know what I mean? You can't be like, oh, it's bullshit. I got written out of my own show. Like, you have to just be like, down for the cause, because they'll fire you in a heartbeat. Get rid of you. Lord Thoth, sadly, I'm not excited about season 5. This will be season 6. And this show is in the first 4 seasons, I was so excited for every new season. Yeah. It was brilliant. I mean, that's why everyone is here. Like, that's what, it was genius. It was 3 perfect seasons, an okay 4th, and a straight up bad 5th. And now we're like, how can we get excited for the 6th season? I don't know. I mean, I'm going to watch it, but I'm not pumped. Sean, what does this say for Amazon's Lord of the Rings? Yeah, it doesn't look good, man. It doesn't look good because Amazon doesn't seem like they can handle a TV show or a property without throwing identity politics into it. It doesn't seem like that they're capable of it. I mean, The Boys season 2 is a laughable joke. Like, EFAP's coverage of that second season is amazing. Like, it's just the lack of logic, like the lack of character consistency, all the girl power. It's awful. Now what they did, season 4 was, I don't think there was much identity politics in it, but it was just not that interesting. But season 5 was just like, wow, that was bad. And that, go girls. And now season 6, like, who knows? I mean, they could pull it out And if they do, I will come on here and acknowledge it. I'm not going to hold this narrative because I'm, blindly fighting something. But I just don't have any hopes for it. I'm not excited. So what does that say about Amazon Lord of the Rings? Probably what we all think it's going to be. Probably going to fucking suck. Elvis says, yeah, now they can choose one of the 1,370 other rings to go to another system, but Marco took the ring space to have control of that traffic. Oh, okay. Oh, so he's in between I get it. Instead of the UN good guys forcing their dominance. Okay. Well, that makes sense at least. That's logical. And he's going to control who gets to go and who doesn't. I mean, I didn't read the later books. It just felt like they had an opportunity to explore all these wild worlds, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, there's really no way to know. There's no way to know how this is going to turn out, but I'm not pumped. Nick Weiser, what's up, brother? The downvote bitches be mad. How am I getting a bunch of downvotes? That's funny. I bet people were probably like wanting me to be like, yes, queen. I'm not going to, though. 4 downvotes? Whatever. Fine. It is what it is. I'm not going to bullshit it. Like, season 5 really disappointed me, man. It really felt like everything else that's come out recently, especially, long-running properties that just, it's like, oh, instead of sticking the landing, instead of, being true to your guns and true to what you're making, you fell victim to everything else that, comes out. It's just, woke. It's intersectional, and the worst thing is it's incompetent, right? Like I was listening to Kurt Metzger, his podcast. Gary was on there with this other comic. I forgot his name, but like Kurt made this point where he was talking about how Mad Max was like, he's like, that's the good feminist propaganda. He's like, if it's good, I don't mind. It's like as long as it's entertaining, and like that's kind of like, I mean, yeah, like I can handle a lot of this stuff if it's entertaining. Like, we point out all the time, like, if there's strong female leads, it's like, yeah, we all still love Terminator. We all still love, like, Terminator 1 is Sarah Connor's story. You know what I mean? Terminator 2, you have John, but, like, it's her story. And Alien 2. Those are some of the most heralded sci-fi action franchises in history. Alien and the Terminator. Hands down. And they have strong female leads, both of them, and they're both indelible characters. Obviously, the audience has not a problem with that. There's like the broest of bros likes those movies, so that's not the problem. The problem is not female representation or having strong female characters. The problem is agenda, making these characters infallible. Making these characters way more powerful and smart than their counterparts, and their entire journey is to overcome all these oppressive men. It's like, fuck off. We don't want to watch that. Nobody wants to watch that. Even the audience that you think exists for your thing, they don't even want to watch. They don't watch anything. They just patrol culture and make sure it fits their agenda, and then they move on to the next thing that doesn't fit their agenda. And that's what they do. They consume. They're not viewers, they're not fans, and you're making stuff for them. And in the meantime, you're ruining everything and alienating the actual fans who love this shit. Unbelievable. Such a dildo. Right. Problem with modern woke is they have no idea what a strong woman is. Yeah, a strong woman is like, to them, it's like a queen, like someone who's just like above reproach, above criticism, has no flaws. Her only problem is this oppressive patriarchal system that we live in. That's her only issue. If it wasn't for that, she would be perfect. She'd be a goddess who glows on earth. That's how they write their female characters. Elvis. Naomi survived that jump that broke inertia, a law of physics that kids learn in school about. Then she crossed through the engine drive plume and survived that too. Yes, problem is agenda. Yes, queen. And isn't the girl, we could thank James Cameron for 75% of that. Fuck yeah. Absolutely. Barbarella, good point. Lord Thoth. What's it? Nick, what's up, buddy? What's wrong with you, Matt? Why are you being honest? I know. Well, then, like, Xena Warrior Princess was a huge show in the 90s. People loved, like, season after season of that show. You had, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, like Lots of great female characters. Laura Croft, Metroid. Like, people don't have an issue with like the way you say they do. We have an issue with your agenda overriding everything, and that being the thing you put out there. People do not have a problem. Men do not have a problem with female characters, strong female characters. Funny enough, we actually like women. Sounds crazy, but we actually do. We don't hate the other gender. Did I always suggest there was two? Oh my God, scold me. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. Essential to them, a strong woman is basically an infallible creature with man's characteristics. Yeah. But like the struggle that a man has to go through to like earn that status, that's profane to them. That's offensive. What do you mean struggle? I'm born perfect. Lord Thoth. My wife is a very strong, independent, beautiful woman who likes gentlemen to hold the door open for her. Can you imagine someone paying you a courtesy and you look at that as like oppression? How dare you be nice and kind to me? What do you think I am? A person? Sorry, it's just being kind. I'll stop being kind to you in the name of feminism. All right. Okay. Badass. Even the baddest alien was an alien queen. Yes, queen. That was pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Islington Girl. Actually, most James Cameron movies have great female characters. So the dude is a boss, really. Yeah. And apparently he treats the women in his life like absolute garbage. So, you know, your personal life does not reflect what you write and, you know, vice versa. So I don't know. I don't even, you know, whatever. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. A little hour post coverage of that. I'll probably release a video on this subject, but if you're here, you already heard everything I'm going to think about it. Make sure you guys stick around later tonight at 9:30 in about 7 hours. MF for Cocktail Lounge with, you know, the boys who are going to drop in, all the cool, fun folk, you know, talk our shit. Probably talk a little bit about this. I want to hear, maybe Lord Thoth can join us, give us his thoughts on there. I think that 70s rock fan. Jake D, if you want to drop in, you're always welcome. But that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next stream. Have a good day. Later, y'all.